Hello, everyone. En here, community lead at Livepeer Foundation. Welcome to our weekly Monday water cooler. We have a lot of topics today, but first, just wanted to give some short network updates. Last week, we had a almost 12% increase in network fees to $12,812. We also had an increase in our participation rate, and we are now at 50.5%, and that means the inflation rate is decreasing, which is amazing. So, thank you all for delegating. Thank you for orchestrators for getting that participation rate up. Um, Always good to see that, and now we can have that inflation rate trending down again. As for me on the community side, like y'all knew, I had pneumonia for a while, so finally getting back into the swing of things. So we'll be having our announcement going out this week, and look forward to that. Additionally, we're going to be doing a Discord refresh. So we're going to be decreasing the amount of channels and roles, refreshing everything. Additionally, we are going to be contracting with a community growth agency. Um, that will be made official probably by end of week, and that will create a community playbook for us. And of course, there will be many things tactically that come on from that, but just wanted to give you guys an insight there that we are getting moving on some community growth tactics, and of course, developing the strategy that will make those tactics happen. That is it for me. Rich, do you have any updates on the foundation leadership end or none for today?
I am just coming back from holiday, so
I know. Okay.
absolutely no announcements. I'm here just to listen. There will be some next week,
All
I'm
right.
sure.
I just want to give you a chance just in case you had something on your mind. All right. Well, let's try to go through some of the updates first, and then we'll get to the main conversation we have today. Of course, as folks know, or maybe don't know, 402, the X402 has been launched or is launched. I'm not sure if it, I was kind of, when I was reading people, I was like, not sure if it was launched, it is launching. But anyway, that has been announced, and I know a lot of folks here thought it might be relevant to micropayments on Livepeer's network, so something to explore for us. And that will be our main conversation. But first, I just wanted to go through some of the updates. So let's try to make them a little bit quicker today. But Grigore, you had an update on the Telegram bot, so please walk us through that.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So just a quick thing. So yeah, I posted a Telegram bot, quick, very small Golang infrastructure, which you could just run commands on the orchestrator. I use that to just get stats and restarts components. There were just some sample codes. But I noticed on Daydream sometimes I'm not sure what happens, but the container, I didn't look too much, would just not halt, but I think get into a weird state where it's somewhat dead, and one of the symptoms is that it consumes very little VRAM, like hundreds of megabytes. Anyway, and I instead of just doing a pull approach where I just check periodically, because sometimes I check, I don't know, at night, and then things pop up, and I check the next night, and then I see, oh, it's been down for quite some time because I don't have the full alert system. So yeah, I just set this quick logic to um, if something goes abnormal, I just get a ping on Telegram and I just get it on my phone. So um, nothing extraordinary, nothing out of the ordinary, but like the logic is simple, so might help other people to adapt if they need something simple, not complicated with a lot of things. Well, if you want to do proper um, management, yeah, you would have to do the whole setup. But if you just want to quickly get some info that you're very interested in on your particular setup, I mean, I think maybe this could help other people. And I thought, why not share this? So that's basically it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for working on that. And did you have? I'm not sure if Chong, if you had any thoughts there on the daydream side of it, but if not, we can keep moving on.
I don't really have anything. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Glory, for continuing to work on that. All All right. Next, we have agent updates from Phoenix.
Hi everyone, thanks very much, En. So it's Phoenix here, part of the Agent SPE. I just wanted to say that we've actually come to the end of our 6 months period of the Agent SPE, and I'm just about to send out the final summary on the forum, and we will be doing a fireside, just a sort of a wrap up on Wednesday to just showcase what we've been doing, and then just a couple of ideas going forward. I think Titan might have a few other things to say, but otherwise we'll see you guys on Wednesday for that. So that's just a brief thing about the SPE. And then the other really exciting thing is, and Mike will appreciate this hopefully, is that I finally got my 5090. So got the power supply, and we'll be working on that hopefully this week to become part of the 5090 dream team on Livepeer. So just a couple of updates there, but yeah. Mike might need to lean on you a little bit for some support as well, but yeah, thanks very much.
Know where to find me. I'm crawling around everywhere.
Congrats,
Awesome.
Phoenix. Upgrade.
Yeah, upgrade. So yeah, cool. All right, thank you, and that's it for me.
All right, we'll swing to Titan if you had other agent updates, agent SPE updates before I move on.
Yeah, thank you so much. Basically, Phoenix already said it. We're going to be wrapping up our phase 2 here, giving a final report. We've, working alongside, the Embody team now. They're going to be working and continuing on, but we'll be working alongside them. But our goal is to, now that we have the Unreal Engine, containerized and it can be hosted on Livepeer, we're going to wrap up, and then we're probably going to take the next maybe like 2 weeks to a month. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to be exploring go-to-market strategies on what the ideal customer looks like for this tech. And then instead of building out tech and then trying to find a use case, we're going to start with the use case and then work it backwards. So we're going to basically do an exploratory phase before we go and do like, if we go back to the treasury and do another round of funding, we want a concrete thesis and plan that the community could easily digest and understand, and go forward with that. So but we will be taking a break because we've been working really hard, and so yeah, we'll explain it all in the fireside with beautiful slides and everything else. So that's an update from us, and then my other discussion obviously is around 402, but we'll get to that. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, and yeah, and good job to the Agent SP team, and of course the Embody network that broke out of that. It's been amazing to see you guys do your work, and I'm excited that you're going to take a break and then come back refreshed for the next phase of growth. GTM is always challenging, but important to think about, and I'm happy to hear you guys kind of following that journey of like you made something, reflect on it, figure out the customer base, and then start getting those sales. Really important. All right, so we have one more update from Define, and then we'll get into our discussion topics. Define, give us some Embody updates.
Hello guys. So regarding, I will start with the technical updates, and I will post the current output we have for the content creator. So all this previous week we've been doing real time tech and demos, and also we'll be doing the content creator. And the update towards the orchestrator was to allow the ability to create a lot of content of arbitrary length and of great customization, and make it possible on the orchestrator. So this is done, and we are able to headlessly capture the streams of 1080p quality, and also get the full sound quality. So I'm gonna upload here the files that we are getting so that anyone can see, but I can also show them on the computer. I need some time to pull the ones that we actually got to send here. so I can do it later and I can continue with the updates now.
Awesome.
So these are the tech updates. We're working also on the Bring Your Container implementation, which is dependent in a bug that Rick worked in solving, and the news we got is that it's going to be updated in 1 to 2 weeks. So we wait mostly on that to continue the Bring Your Container implementation. Also, there is some feedback using the Bring Your Own Container tech, and we find that it can be used to actually move the network from offering software as a service solution. So right now you are able to host your software, so you're paying orchestrators to host that software, and you have very little freedom of if you want to implement intra-container changes. So we are actually looking to create a bring your own container implementation that does not pay you anymore to deploy the containers and deploy your software, but it instead is paying you to provide a root access container. And we can use that monolithic container to build our software and build our infrastructure without having to adapt to communicate with its orchestrator for adapting things which may be different in their configurations. So we think that this is a very important step in competing with platforms as the AWS and Google Cloud, Azure, the centralized platforms, to allow the same level of freedom when using Livepeer. And this is already so issues, and as scale is entering into the phase, it will show a lot of issues later. So these are the tech updates we have on the business side. We we have as you heard and you will see completed that step. So we're looking into make that into an API and put it forward to paying customers. So this is our first product, and it's useful to anyone who wants to create any content of any kind, fully customizable with a level ups pipeline, and it's becoming better every day. And Dane has done amazing, absolutely stunning work on that. And another thing is that, as you have heard, we have separated from the agent SP, which we thank very much for all they did for us, basically, and the amazing partnership we had. There were some differences, but we uh, we completely solved everything very civilized, and I'm very thankful of that. Is that we will be doing our own proposal at the end of the next month. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we deliver you uh, everything of what matters that we promised, and that we have push more stuff than what was actually asked. So we'll do a review of everything that was done. We will present you with the new opportunities that we are looking forward, and I will not say any more about the kind of application that we are doing on the real time. We prefer to show you when that is done, but we will continue providing you with content updates on the creator once that is once the pipelines for the media distribution are completed. So these are all the updates that we have.
Amazing. Congrats on the hard work as well, Define, and thank you for continuing to show up in the community. I always appreciate your enthusiasm and also all the hard work you do. One note from me, and I mentioned this before, but the last company I worked at, Wonderverse, we had scaled a product from 0 to 100K ARR, and just so folks can have some kind of like grounding. In order to do that, the amount of outreach that I and the team did was like mind numbing. So a lot of getting your first like the 10 customers or first dollar in the door, and maybe I'm preaching to the choir already, but it just takes scale of outreach, and knowing who you're targeting. That means having a strong kind of vision for your customer personas, and that's how we got that metric. And some people still use it. I don't know how the product's doing now. The company had pivoted away from it, but I think it still has some loyal customers. So anyway, if you ever want to hit me up about scaling a product or how sales and partnerships and stuff, how to approach it, let me know. I basically built that out at the last company I was working at. So yay. Anything else from you, Deepak?
And thank you so much for talking about this and suggesting this. It would be great to talk to you about our application and learn from all your experience. And one comment is that the product itself takes massively care of the outreach. So it saves time
Right.
on the outreach, and I will share more details.
Yeah, and the one note I'll have, and this is kind of unexplored, but the kind of like low level data I've seen about AI is that AI tends to have less, like it decreases the close rate on things sales wise, and a big part of like at least the sales we were doing is personality. So I don't. Again, this is an open question, but the data will kind of prove out what is true. So I don't want to discourage AI outreach. However, human to human outreach, I think, still has a higher success rate in terms of sales. But AI is new, so I might be wrong.
And here I think you are very correct, and AI increases the velocity in everything. The thing about sales, and this is a hypothesis which uh, we will be testing, we're not testing it, but because we need some infrastructure for it, but we will test soon, is can you close the gap, still retain the human closeness that closes a deal or closes a sale, but still make it way faster with AI. So maybe the AI can send you the lead prepped, ready to you.
Right. Yeah, and lead sourcing is Cosmic Crafter AI can do cold calls and emails type stuff, but peer to peer is best for final sales. Yeah, agree there. Okay, so let's move on, and maybe this is a topic we can do next week. I mean, I would love. I know Titan, you had mentioned GTM as well, so maybe next week we have a GTM topic, and kind of like talk through that, because I have done GTM at the last company I worked for, and I think other folks here have probably done GTM as well. So and we did GTM at Daydream as well. So anyway. Okay, let's do the 402 conversation. Just so people know, we have 4 discussion points, the 402. Then we have Cosmic Crafter has some questions to get orchestrator setup support. Yes, Joseph, good call there. That advisory board's also talked about GTM. And then we have Mike kind of having a discussion around like ETH mainnet migration or degradation, because we already did it. Reverse migration, if that's possible for any of the pieces of the network. And then we have John with the Explorer/Performance Leaderboard topic. So we'll get into the 402. For folks who don't know degradation, folks who don't know, there is, I saw a post by Suhail, who actually worked at Livepeer a bit ago. Let me send the tweet from him. I thought it was a good explain like I'm 5 doc. And then thank you, Mike, for tagging the thread. But does someone want to explain the 402, or do you want me to? Dang, really, guys?
Sorry, I was just replying to
You're fine.
Mike's thread there. I just the degradation. I said we should migrate to Mega ETH for free airdrops. But yeah, it is a good joke. Anyway, sorry, the 402 conversation. I spent all weekend on this, so I don't know if you. And do you know much about the 402? Do you want to explain it, or do you want me to go ahead?
I read it this morning and I understood like the basic premise. But if you've been digging in, you take it.
All right, okay. So I'll take it away. So let me start off with a bit of history on the 402. So for those that are non-technical, Error 402, I believe, has been around since kind of the invention of errors back when HTTP came out. Basically, 402 stands for payment required. 402 has basically had no adoption for the last number of decades because it doesn't really make sense as an error, because crypto was never enabled and it was just an error that, well, it just doesn't make any sense because payments usually are through banking systems, so you wouldn't do it at the API level. In May, I believe it was May of this year, Coinbase came out and they decided to resurrect the 402 error. And they've done it by allowing crypto-enabled payments through API calls. So the idea is instead of going to a dashboard, making an account, signing up through credit card and Stripe, getting an API key, and then using that API key to do API calls, and then you're rate limited or things like this through that API key. The idea is you can skip all of that Web 2 process, and instead you can send a transaction hash, or at least I can't remember exactly how it works, but it's like a signed transaction that is redeemable. And what you do is with your API call, you send the transaction hash. The API provider goes to their Coinbase APIs. They give them the transaction hash. Coinbase then redeems the money, sends back a success, and now that API goes, hey, listen, we have been paid for this API call. We will now honor your API call with a success, right? So the idea is now you can do API calls front to back without any third part or without any sign up, credit card, or anything. You can send payment per API call. And if that API requires payment, it comes back with error 402, payment required, and some, and the what it requires for the payment. So Coinbase came out with a white paper and documentation on how to implement this back, I believe, in May. And it's been pretty dormant, hasn't really caught fire. I think, shout out to Authority for me commenting about this in that little lounge, I think in July, like super early, crazy. Anyway, it finally just went viral this weekend for really no apparent reason. Like there's somebody in the tech world retweeted or had an opinion about it, and it just spread like fire. So this is not something brand new that released this weekend. This has been out for months and months, and then the actual protocol of 402 has been out for decades and decades. So this is like weird. Like it's literally an established protocol. It's had a narrative for decades. It's just caught fire. Okay, so what has happened is there's a website called x402scan.com or .org. .org. That is kind of where everyone is aggregating all the services that you can do 402 calls to, APIs with this Coinbase integration. And so you can actually go there right now, and people have like if you want to buy $1 of poop coin, you literally just do you sign your wallet, you fire it off, and Coinbase backend redeems the money, and you receive $1 of poop coin, and away you go. So it's become like a new launch pad for token swaps, for ICOs, and it's going viral. All the agents are using it. They're now building out entire maps um, of who accepts these type of API calls, who's in the ecosystem, and right now Livepeer is so set up to allow this. All we need to do is set up a 402 enabled endpoint, and we could do like VOD or just something that, and we'd be on the roadmap of all these trending research firms. We need to be on that list.
Yeah.
So I did make a thread about it if you guys want to go check it out. But anyway, X402, super old idea, implemented protocol in May, and today, this weekend, it went viral. So it's quite funny. Yeah, that's the background of 402. I'm excited to work with anyone who wants to get Livepeer onto it in any fashion. So yeah, that's a bit of background.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that this is like a perfect narrative moment for us. Something on foundation end, something we should definitely be talking about internally. Because the whole idea of micropayments is what we're doing here. Additionally, for real-time video AI, a Cosmic Crafter I think already has LPT, but if you want to send some. But yeah, so I think that this is, we always struggle with getting on to the kind of current moment. So I think this is a really good challenge for us as a community, but also for Foundation and Inc. to like jump up to this moment. And maybe Lizzie, we can tweet about like, hey, we talked about this in the community. Livepeer is really interested in getting on 402 and seeing how we can bring the world's open video infrastructure into micropayments on chain. I think that could be a really cool narrative. But yeah, did anyone else have any thoughts, immediate reactions? I'll shut up.
Well, I'll add as well that I'm in a chat with the Ethereum Foundation and Eliza OS. They're super into this because they're building out the standard 8004, which is on-chain discovery of agent and agent services. And so now there's like this weird crosshair, which is like you can register your service on chain as 8004 EIP, and then you use the 402 protocol for actual payments. So we can do like agent to agent discovery, agent to service discovery, all these type of things. So this is kind of the trend and direction. So it's that's kind of where things are going. But yeah, welcome to hear anyone's like ideas on or interpretation of what this all means. I guess if no one wants to step, John, you just unmuted.
I just had some thoughts on this. It looks like they have like a client SDK, they can integrate with the Node app, and I'm assuming this would work as like a wallet for the user, like a wallet connect kind of interaction. But you also have like agent automation, just highlighting those two paths. And then I think it'd be great to have this on the Go Livepeer gateway, actually kind of neat. Or maybe it's a separate, middleware that goes over top of it. But right now it looks like the SDK they have is like a Node package.
They got Python, Node, a lot of SDKs for. Well, there's also two separate SDKs. I think 402, the website is agnostic around the redeemer. So there'll be a lot of redeeming services. And then, so if you go to Coinbase's docs, they have obviously their redeeming docs and how to get up and going quickly. So obviously Coinbase makes it super easy, but 402 is just a protocol, and so there's other redeeming services. But I really like that idea of just like enabling a 402 endpoint in the gateway directly, and then you could almost just expose that to the world. Like any orchestra or anyone that wants to run a gateway can just expose that and start receiving payments for what's capable on the Livepeer network. That's like a really fascinating idea.
Yeah, it could like integrate with the deposit reserve in some way. Like if you don't have enough deposit reserve to do a transaction, it could respond with the 402. I assume it takes like some type of a signature, through the API that can pre-auth the transaction with your wallet.
Yeah, that was my question on like the signature structure. Is it like you have to sign it, or can you automate the signatures?
You have to sign it. So this is the part that I don't quite understand yet, because I've done some research. So what happened? So I've done a bunch of these 402 transactions. What's interesting is when you sign, I feel like when you sign it, you don't actually send the money yet, because if say you were to sign to send $1 with a crypto, and you're sending a transaction, the final transaction hash to the API, let's say. Well, what if you get a 500 error, right? Internal server error, and the service is down. Well, you just paid that money, you didn't get what you asked for, and you have no way of getting it back, right? So it's like, so the way they've done it is when you sign this, the money doesn't leave your wallet yet. And it's only until they redeem it on their end does it get pulled, does the money get pulled, and then the API will come back and finish up what it promised it would do. But the question is, okay, because I feel like it was a message I signed. So you like sign a message, they go redeem it, and then you get the API response back. But the question is, what if Coinbase is down, or AWS, and it's like, how long do they have to redeem it? Is it redeemable in perpetuity? Like, 10 years later, you can just redeem this money that you had. What's the time frame on it? Like, I haven't quite figured that all out. I'm sure it's all thought out in the white paper. I have to investigate, but it's a fascinating kind of design that I want to jump into a bit more.
If you look at Suhail's write-up about it, how he frames it is a bit different, and I'll just go through that right now. So you have client, server, and then the blockchain. So the first step is that the client requests a resource with get/data, and then the server says, HTTP 402 payment required. Then the client sends the micropayment. And then that is confirmed by the blockchain, and that confirmation is sent to that server, and then the client sends the request again and gets the data. So basically it's a two ping. So it pings once, hey, I want this, and then the server's like, pay up, and then you say, okay, I paid, now send it to me, and it says, yes, you have paid, here it is.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. I just wonder, like, what happened, right? Because yeah, it's
So basically, you're setting up the history with the server. So the server says, this client, whatever identification that is, this client has sent one request before. I already sent them a 402. Now let's check if they sent something with, like, that same client sent anything to me, and it's like, oh yes, I do see a payment here. Then I can, they confirm that with a blockchain. I trust the blockchain's data because it's verified, and then I will I'll send it back to them. Like, and now yes, you've been approved. You get your data.
Then what's the point of the redeeming service with Coinbase if that's the case? Because certainly you don't need. Oh, here it is. Yeah, because why do you need a Coinbase redeeming service if you can just go to the blockchain and confirm the transaction?
Well, I think that it. Well, I mean, I think this is what's happening in Web3 with a lot of different entities, and that's kind of what Authorial was saying in chat. Like, you don't necessarily need Coinbase, right? Coinbase, I don't know if the guy who worked at Coinbase created it or something, but technically you don't need Coinbase. But I think that Coinbase is like advocating for it through their thing, which makes sense because they want that. Maybe they take a cut of the payment or something.
right? Maybe they just make it easy to enable Web2 pay, or
Right.
like they'll be the address, like when you pay it, it'll just go to your Coinbase account, right? Like you then it's like, oh, you don't have to deal with your own private keys. Here, just use Coinbase's stuff, and we'll handle it all. But it's like, you're right. The idea is you can still just do it natively with the blockchain, but here's Coinbase's APIs. We just make it a little easier, so away you go. But
And is that only Ethereum mainnet, or could you use any chain?
Any chain. So it's not, the 402 protocol is chain agnostic. And right now, yeah, so it literally, I believe it's the 402 response, right? So as N was saying, the 402 response specifies what chain the 402 payment wants, right? So yeah, so it's like, oh, here, this API requires payment. We want our payment on Solana, and then you have to send a payment on Solana for that amount, and here's the transaction hash.
Right, because the blockchain, it's just functioning, and this is the power of blockchains, right? It's functioning as a decentralized, verifiable data layer, saying yes, the payment was sent, instead of having a centralized entity like Visa, right? Basically, what blockchains are the best at, right, is a lot of it's economic, and it's saying, yes, I see that transaction from this to this. Now that is verified. That can't be doctored at all, so I can safely send this data to you.
Yeah. So it's funny because this is, it's been around for a while. The concept of this concept has been written about like years and years ago. So this is not like new per se. It's just getting the virality. It's the new meta, right? Like it's just, yeah. Yeah.
And Brad had a comment, very similar micropayments, and talking about how it could work on Livepeer's network. So the other thing I wanted to note, just to your comment about this kind of comment came out of nowhere, I think that before this moment, you're starting to. I just saw like Citibank and Coinbase doing a partnership, and like a bunch of people like Zelle using allowing Web3 payments. I think we've hit a precipice moment where people are realizing like, duh, right? Duh, it makes more sense. So we're seeing this moment of like, okay, now if all these big centralized actors start using this infra, then it starts to give it like larger legitimacy. And I think before the last two or 3 years, we barely had L2s, right? If you wanted to do this 3-4 years ago, it would be cost prohibitive, right? There's no way that Ethereum L1 could have maintained this level of activity. I mean, I was even priced out of ETH L1 when I joined the industry in 2020, late 2019, early 2020. I couldn't even do a DeFi interaction, right? So that's when I started looking into L2s, and I had an investment thesis around L2s being successful that ended up being true, or Altgen L1s. So now we have L2s, which are newer generally, and that has enabled this higher throughput transaction with low cost. So yeah, it's definitely, I think, a combination of right place, right time, and technology finally getting to where it needed to be.
Yeah, I think because it's kind of a funny meta, because it's not necessarily super new. It's just like a different way of doing the same thing. I'm just curious as to how Livepeer can kind of position itself. So rather than having it as an internal Livepeer network tool, how do we make it an external tool, so like other people find us, and it can be like an endpoint for customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like, how does it like? I think the fastest thing we need to do, or at least one thing we could do like this week, which either the cloud team or myself, we can kind of whip something up, which is, let's just create a gateway that accepts 402 payments listed on 402 scan. And let's start with something really basic that the Livepeer network can do reliably and well, which is like maybe a VOD transcoding, kind of our what we've been doing for a long time. So like we can show an example of how to use the Livepeer network So you could say like, here's a file, I want it transcoded. Here's a payment required, 402, and then that becomes indexed, and Livepeer gets trending as like, oh no, we are a 402 protocol. You can use us immediately. The agent network goes, hey, listen, Livepeer is here with its transcoding service and 402 enabled service, like, and then that way we become kind of a part of the meta. And we could probably do that this week if we want to, if anyone wants to help. But yeah, I think just starting out with like a quick transcoding 402 endpoint would be a great start.
I think the other key differentiator for why this is important is it almost makes like a marketplace, right? I think the hard thing about Web3 has always been discoverability, right? How do you know which protocols can do what? And how do you, and there's no standard, right? So if you want to do, you want to go transcode through Livepeer, you got to go to Livepeer, you got to figure out. So it's almost like, any standard, right? It creates a 402 standard that all people within the Web3 industry can start to adhere to. And that standard can then increase traffic because someone's like, well, I really need video on demand. Oh, Livepeer does that. Okay, I can easily just send it through this 402 standard rather than going to Livepeer's Discord, figuring out how to do it natively in that ecosystem, and then going back to what I was doing. I think it's ease of access. But again, if other people see it differently, please jump in.
Yeah, second that. Totally agree. That's literally it. Make it easy.
Easy peasy.
So anyway, I'm gonna kind of spin up an API using the Coinbase docs to a gateway, and I'm gonna start with like a VOD and just like see how that goes, and then yeah, if anyone has any input or wants to help out, let me know.
I think the CTA for everyone here, if you're interested, join that thread. Maybe it could be posted again. Sorry, I'm recording, so I can't post the link, but jump in there if you're interested in potentially doing this. Also, just a note to Lizzie, definitely something to post content around. You can say that we talked about it during this call, and maybe even clip the conversation if you want when I post the recording. And we can say like, hey, Livepeer's already thinking about it. So yeah. Anyway, Titan, thank you for bringing this up as well. I definitely thought it would be an interesting conversation too. Are there any other thoughts? We can always continue async in that thread, but super exciting stuff.
Maybe one comment. I think one thing as an ecosystem that the foundation is really trying to push is to ensure that whenever there's activity, for instance, Titan working with the EF through the agent SPE through Sarah, let's really try and ensure that there's this loop of, okay, let's propose something, let's put it down on a one-pager, share that, gather, or put it through the forum, and then ensure that when something moves forward, that there is this loop where we get it back and we can amplify it through Livepeer channels. So it's not just all of us talking on internally, but we're really trying to amplify that externally. So a bump to Lizzie internally within the foundation, but also a bump to everyone else. Like if you are working on key things from a partnership perspective, let's also ensure that we're sort of amplifying it so that everyone wins, and as an ecosystem, we're really moving forward together, if that makes sense.
Awesome, thanks, Rich. Cyril, did you have something to say as well?
Good evening, all. My name is Wisdom Chris, and I just wanted to keep in just let me see
Cyril, you're a bit muffled.
what I've been working. Okay.
Can y'all understand him, or is it just me?
Can you hear me better now?
Oh yeah, much better.
Okay. I say my name is Wisdom Chris, and I want to chip in a little bit of what I've been working on. So it's called Pair Shop. Yeah. So it's kind of like a unified
Livepeer catalyst layer. So just a contribution, like making contribution accessible to everyone. Yeah, so I put it out week and I've received a lot of like good feedbacks from people and even some people who already want to post like their bounties on the platform. Yeah, so I'm also like my DMs are open for feedbacks and maybe suggestion on how to make it better. And I'll also drop like a link of an article of what it's all about, like the building process, so that we can go through it. And then if you have any contribution to make, you can contribute more. Yeah, so that's just what I want to chip in. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we don't have a ton more time. We only have 5 minutes. So I did want to kick off for Cosmic Crafter to talk about orchestration support. We can take the 402 conversation to that thread. If you're interested, jump in that thread. Share your thoughts there as well. But Cosmic Crafter, I want to give you some space to talk about your orchestrator questions, and then I do have to jump in 2 minutes, but I'll keep the space open. I just won't get the recording captured the rest of the conversation after the next few minutes. Cosmic Crafter, did you drop? Or do you want to come back up? Oh, well, I guess Cosmic Crafter is not with us right now. Okay, well, I will throw it to Mike then. Oh, you dropped. Okay. I'll throw it to Mike, and then we have John as well. So if you want to start your topic, Mike. I'm sorry for the hard shift, but I just wanted to make sure.
Nah, it's fine. Let John go ahead. I think his is probably more direct and to a specific point. The main net conversation's going on in the chat if you guys want to catch it there.
Sure. Yeah, so I just recently added some more GPUs and got capabilities online. I was looking at the performance dashboard. I know there's been some work to show what capabilities are available in the network. I realized that for Daydream workloads, we were just giving like a lot of different service URIs right now, but they're not like actually registered to the registry. So I think the leaderboard is not picking up like my secondary nodes models, or doesn't really pick up the other node at all. Doesn't send any tests to it, I think. I wasn't sure if anyone was working on that, or if maybe there was some coordination to utilize the nodes tag, the nodes flag to expand the capabilities to the gateway.
Speedy's probably the better person to talk to. He's the one that actually implemented that work for the Cloud SPE. So as we promised, a year ago, I guess it would be a year ago in August, that we would keep the AI tester running and that we would keep updating it to support the newer models. So real-time AI video has been a big one, and that was one we thought was important. And we discussed it last week if you guys missed it. But I think there's definitely some manual setup. Like we've been keeping track of orchestrators because the service registry, as you pointed out, isn't being used, and there's no easy way at this point to address looking up orchestrators without just knowing where they are, knowing their ports, knowing their address. So if you just drop it in the AI video chat, we can get your other node added. But we're definitely looking at fixing that and trying to come up with a better strategy. I think the nodes flag was a discussion. We haven't had a chance to really dig in and actually unpack what that means yet, but it is on our radar. Speedy, I see you jumped up. Do you want to comment?
I think you got it. I mean, yeah, the nodes thing is an option. I think it has some complexities. I'm not particularly ready to implement in the tester at this point. So I think we just need to normalize a plan that aligns what has been done with the past with, the nodes component and other potential strategies, so we can have a unified path forward.
I just want to jump in. Does that mean the real-time video doesn't have an on-chain registry? Is that kind of what you mentioned, Mike?
Yeah, it's been all manual. So was someone saying something?
There is
Oh,
an
go ahead.
registry for AI nodes, but the unfortunate thing is that many orcs have been putting up different URIs, service URIs, multiple service URIs, because challenge of the remote workers and having everything go through one service URI for AI jobs. So that challenge has led to people having multiple URIs, including me, to be able to service the jump in demand here.